It's time for the Ella Johnson Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show, where there are two sides to every story. Enjoy the broadcast. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Ella Johnson Show. I am so excited that you have taken time out of your busy Sunday to be here with me for this special broadcast. This is Monroe County Uncovered. The conversation about Tee Tunstall continues. So I am excited to be here. Tonight, we're just going to talk again. Today, I played part 2 of the DA Now Has the Case, and I hope you guys got a chance to watch that so you'll kind of get an idea of what this show is about tonight. But I welcome you. If you are watching from Facebook, do me a favor and share the broadcast. Just type in folks' names. Just tell them, look, the Ella Johnson Show is on. She's going to be talking about Tee Tunstall. He was the young man who was dragged by Monroe Police Department over in Monroeville, Alabama. Whatever you have to tell them to get them to come on over here and watch the broadcast with us. If you're watching from Facebook, share. If you're watching from YouTube, since you're already there, I need you guys to subscribe to my channel. We need more visibility for the show so that we can bring more and more stories to you from Monroe County Uncovered. Just subscribe. I mean, you're already there watching. Why not, right? So I'm probably going to be solo tonight, but that's all right. I can do this solo as long as I have you guys there with me as well. We're going to get through this, talk about it. We have a lot to talk about. And I just want to share with you guys, because the heart of this show is that we get more and more people involved and more people engaged in what it is that we're trying to do, because it takes all of us for something like this. Y'all know how it is. If we didn't talk about this on the Ella Johnson Show, the subject probably would have died down. People would have moved on, but we're not going to let this one get swept under the rug. We vow that. That is my commitment, my personal commitment from the Ella Johnson Show, that we continue to bring this story to you as it unfolds, okay? So tonight, what are we going to talk about tonight? That's a good question. What are we going to talk about tonight? Tonight, before we talk about reports and investigations and all that kind of jazz, prosecutors, politics, because I don't like talking about politics, I want us to think about one thing: a human life. I want you guys to let that sink in for a moment. Human life. We're not talking about someone that has moved on and doing something else in his life. His life ended that day. And everyone else out there went home to their families. They're seeing their children. They're watching their children play in the yard. They are moving on with their life. But Tee's family, the young man who died that day, the human life, he wasn't able to do that. That's why we're here tonight. A man named Amar Tee Tunstall left home that day. Like every one of us, he had people who loved him, people who expected him to come home. Instead, his family was faced with a tragedy that changed their lives forever. Okay? No family ever imagines that the last conversation, the last hug, or the last "I love you" will be the last. Yet tonight, Tee's family continues to live with questions. Guys, listen, the DA hasn't said anything. The Monroe Journal hasn't said anything, and we're waiting for that. Okay. We are still waiting for that to happen. But Tee's family continues to live with questions, grief, and uncertainty. about what's coming next, what happened, what comes next. They are still having to deal with that and think about it. Why isn't anyone getting involved? Why are the people quiet? Why is it just so darn quiet in Monroe? You know, I'm sure they've asked these questions thousands of times in their heads and in their hearts, right? This conversation tonight, though, isn't just about Tee, guys. It's about every one of you mothers who have lost a child, every father who's lost a child, every child, every brother and sister who believes that when someone dies during an encounter with law enforcement, the truth should be pursued thoroughly. Hear what I say? Thoroughly. It shouldn't be swept under the rug like it sometimes happened in Monroe. Let's be real. It does. It sometimes happened, and this is why we're here, so it doesn't happen this time. Okay? The process should be fair, don't you think? For everyone. And the public should have confidence that justice is being served. Now, our elected officials carry an enormous responsibility. I'm talking about the sheriffs, the mayors, the district attorneys, the city council members, county commissioners. These people don't simply hold titles, okay? They don't just hold titles. They actually have a responsibility to you, the people who elected them. Don't get it twisted. You have power. It's time to use it. Use your power, but use your voice as well. Actions speak louder than words, though. They hold the public's trust. That's what they have. That trust is strengthened through transparency, accountability, and willingness to answer difficult questions, right? I think that I can safely say that a lot of what you guys are getting, you're wondering why they aren't just saying, I mean, because think about it. You did get something. You did get that statement from Mandy, and we talked about that the other night. We're not going to talk about that one tonight. But you did get that. And you also you saw for yourself. I didn't have to tell you. No one had to tell you. You saw the video, and then you saw her statement. And you were able to figure out yourself, something just don't smell right here, right? Well, I didn't have to tell you that. Tonight is not about rushing to judgment, though, okay? That what we don't want to do on this broadcast is sit here and say this or that without actually knowing. Now, there's some things we could talk about. Like we can talk about Mandy's statement because it was jacked up. It was not accurate. And we compared it to the video that was made public. So we're not off by saying that. That's something we can see with our own eyes. But tonight is not about judgment. It's about asking what we should expect. What should we expect from those we elect to serve us, right? What should we expect from Mandy? What should we expect from the mayor? What should we expect from our sheriffs and our city councilmen and our county commissioners? What should we expect from these people, right? They're sitting there for you. They're only sitting there because of you. So you should demand and expect higher, because you got up and voted for these people and you put your trust in them. I'm just saying. Now, should we expect accountability? Yes. Should we expect communication with the public? Yes. Should every family receive answers? Yes, yes, and yes. Those are questions every community has the right to ask. Now, as citizens, our responsibility doesn't end at the ballot box. It continues every time we attend a city council meeting. How many of you actually go to the city council meetings? Raise your hand. I know I can't see y'all raising your hands, but just type in the comments. I do. Are you getting anything out of it? Like, are you getting your questions answered? Or does it take so long for the process for you to even get invited to speak at the meetings? Like, what's the process there, Monroe? I would really like to know that. And is it a tedious one? Is it one that you feel like it's too bothersome for you to even worry about? Like, is it something that you can do easily? Like, has anyone gone to the city council in Monroe publicly and spoke about this other than Mr. Buford? I know that he did. And I heard that. I heard the entire conversation that he had there with them. And I think that was the day that they decided that the officers were going to be returned to active duty, and that the mayor made some kind of comment that he's had other things more important to work on, or something to that effect. I don't want to quote him because I don't have that in front of me, but That should have made you guys feel some kind of way. And that shouldn't have been the only time y'all went. Somebody should have kept going to these city council meetings. I mean, show up every week. And then when they don't want to see you, bring that to the media. Let the media know that you're being refused to speak on something that you guys have issues with, and watch and see how much attention that gets. You know why? Because they're elected for the people. And if the people are the last ones you're dealing with, then you don't need to be there. Just saying, right? Now, every time you show up at a county commission meeting, every time we respectfully ask questions, and every time we insist that justice be fair, impartial, and worthy of the public's trust. Now, tonight, we remember Tee, okay? You guys see here on my show, I have Justice for Tee. I have this that's going to remain there throughout the show, because we are ultimately trying to get justice for Tee Tunstall. That is what the Ella Johnson Show has committed to, and that's what we intend to do. We're not going to get derailed. We're not going to get distracted. We're going to stay focused, and we're going to build this community up to where everyone wants to get involved. Whites, blacks, yellow, green, purple. Injustice does not have a race or a color on it. All of us want justice from what has happened, and every single one of you deserve it. Okay? Make no mistake about it. If you have been a citizen in Monroeville, whether you came from somewhere else or whatever the case may be, and you're there now and you feel that you are not being well represented by your city council, say something. If you feel like you're getting harassed because you know things and you want justice, say something. Do something. Figure out what it is that you have to do to get that done. I mean, because you deserve to be treated fairly as well. All of you deserve it. So, I mean, I'm just saying, this is you guys. I'm your cheerleader for you, because I don't live in Monroeville. Okay? I don't go to any of their city council meetings. It doesn't affect me, right? Together, we ask not only what happened, but also, what kind of community do we want to be? This is what I want you guys to think about tonight, because as you watch this broadcast, yes, we're going to watch and learn some things, but I want you guys to think about, what can I offer to this community? What can I do to be of assistance to the Tunstall family, to any other family that this may or may not happen to? It could happen again, right? And you need to have y'all need to start getting a community of people that want to stand for justice and will do it by any means necessary. You got to have that kind of attitude. So what if they try to harass me? So what if they try to make me lose my job? Whatever. You got to fight for it, because it's not going to just fall on your lap. And from what I understand, this is something that is continuing to happen. So you have to do something too. All right. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, for those of you that are just new to the show, I want you to know that every time you drop a comment, it's going to come up on the screen like this. Prayers for the family. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate you. And I saw your comment too, Renee, on the live, before the live, where you say, guys, we just got to work together. I agree with you, dear. And I hope that everyone agrees with you. I think that we should definitely work together. There's more of us that really believe in this Tee Tunstall, justice for Tee Tunstall, than you care to. I mean, there are a lot of people that are on board with this. We just need to know who you are and get on board. Like, sign the petition. I know I haven't talked about the petition a lot, but sign the petition and just do what you can, right? So thank you, Renee. I appreciate that, dear. Now, I also want you guys to know that I have dropped the link here. Now, you are watching this show live. All you got to do is just click on that link if you want to come on the broadcast with me. I would love for you guys to join me. It'd be great. It'd be fun. We can sit here and we can talk, and you guys can help me do this show, and I have to do all the work. But if you want to be a guest on the show, just click on that link and you can follow the steps, and you'll be right here on the broadcast with me. Okay. Now, I want you guys to understand something. Last week, we brought this up. This is why I am doing this show, because now the DA has it. You remember when this first began, we were just talking about the video. We were talking about what's going on because we didn't have anything else to talk about. We were just trying to keep it alive. Well, now we know that the DA has this case. They are looking at the evidence. They are looking at the body cam footage. They're looking to see what these officers did that day when it comes to T. Hopefully they have the footage from Clausell where they were chasing him, right? They're looking at all that. They've interviewed people from the community, hopefully. And they're looking at the timeline. I know they have to look at the autopsy report, because now, based on that autopsy report, and I don't want to talk about that because it hasn't been made public, okay? So I don't want to get ahead of the process. I don't want to get ahead of the lawyers. I don't want to get ahead of the DA, because they have the right to run their case the way they need to do it without interference from media. So I don't want to do that. But I think that that something needs to happen here soon. I mean, because we've been waiting, okay? And it's time to know what was T's cause of death. We saw the video, and we know what you put on your statement, and you tried to make it seem as though, yeah, he died as a result of maybe drugs. That's what they left you with on that. Come on, you guys be honest with me. When you saw that statement, that's exactly what you probably felt as well. That, yeah, this is why he died, because, yeah, he was on drugs, and that's why they gave him Narcan. Yeah, but everything isn't what it seems. Just because people give you Narcan don't mean you got drugs in your system, right? Just say that. We've talked about that before. So this was the letter that I received in my effort to try to get the autopsy information. Obviously, I wanted to get it, but they're saying that the first time it was denied. Okay, I just want to bring y'all up to speed. First time it was denied to me, and then they came back and said, well, listen, we got to ask the DA if there's an ongoing investigation before we can give you this report, because then I would have been able to see exactly what the autopsy showed. But they came back and they said, well, you know what, Ms. Campbell, this is what's going on here. District Attorney Todd Watson has notified the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences that this case remains under criminal investigation. So with that being said, I'm not able to get it because it means that he has it and he doesn't want this publicly known. Okay. And that's the norm. That's what usually happens. Okay. So that's where we are with that. Now, guys, I really want y'all to understand something. And I made this, I talked about it a lot the other night, that whenever you have the DA has it and the autopsy report may say one thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there'll be charges filed. Because a lot of times there are people who actually die at the hands of police while they're in police custody, and those police don't get charged. Okay. They don't get charged, and they don't get charged because either A, there's not enough evidence to prove guilt, that they intentionally meant to kill or harm the person that died. There just may not be enough evidence. Maybe the body cam isn't specific. They don't have all of the body cam footage that they need to be able to convict. Could be a lot of different reasons, but there are cases where people do get charged. Now, the other night I talked about some, but I saw a video. I said, I got to share this. Oh, I got to share this one with you guys tonight. And it's because it is, do you know the Monroe County detention facility inmates have been out of hot water for months? Oh gosh. See, guys, this is what I want to tell y'all. This is why, remember when I went live before the live and I was talking about how I have to say that there's stuff that goes on at the Monroe Police Department and at the sheriff's office. This is what I'm talking about. It is a system issue. And y'all have to understand, it is just how the system is set up. It's going to work for certain people and certain people it's not. Now, B Anson is saying off topic. So sorry. It's okay, B. That's what the show is about. I want you to bring your comments. I messaged you on here about it. Did you know the Monroe County Detention Facility inmates have been out of hot water for months? I don't remember seeing your message, B, so I apologize for that. I'll go look for it so that you and I could chat off camera here. That's an issue. That's an issue. Well, B, has anyone or yourself complained about this? Because this is what I want y'all to get in the habit of doing. When you see something that is not right, complain about it. Find out. You can go to the website. How do I file a complaint with blah, blah, blah? How do I file a complaint with blah, blah, blah? Always, always, always do it the way it's set up for you to do it. I'm going to tell you why that's so important. You make a phone call, you curse somebody out, you tell them that you're not happy with how things are at the jail, or you're not happy how things are with the MPD. And then what do you think's going to happen to that phone call? You think they're going to log it? You think they're going to make sure that it's heard? No, they're going to try to, they don't want to make it that way. But when you go through the process, their own process, and file a complaint, now you have records of what you complained about. You have your copy. Never do give anything to Monroe Police Department or the sheriffs unless you have your own copy. And if you want to send something to them, a letter of complaint or whatever, get it certified. Always get it certified, and always have your copy so that you can make sure it was received. Because when you send something, read, receipt, or certified, they have to sign for it. And when they sign for it, you're going to get an email that lets you know they signed for it and who signed for it. So if you're going to be intentional about filing a complaint, do it the right way. But that's kind of messed up, B. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And those kinds of things shouldn't happen. Like, we can't just think that people, I mean, and provided this is accurate information, because I have no way of knowing, but B saying this is what's going on there. And anybody else that has any dealings with the jail, you guys see this comment, then take it back to your sheriff, or take it back to your people there, whoever you guys answer to at the sheriff's office, and let them know this is some of the stuff that's coming out, you know. But thank you for that. So I definitely want to share this video with you guys, because but before I do that, I want to show you guys something here. This is from my page. Where is it? Right here. I want you guys to see that when I put it out this week for you guys to tell me what you thought about the DA. What do you think they should be looking at? Now, of course, I made my comments here, and I said that, you know, they need to consider the sequence of events leading up to his death. You know, the police chase, the subsequent custody, so that they can have a complete, comprehensive understanding of the case. And of course, I couldn't leave just one comment. I said they also look at the videos taken that day. Because from my understanding, there may or may not be more than one. Okay, there could be others coming from different angles. They need to look at all of them. You know, once they view the videos, they look at Mandy's statement, and they're going to immediately see that there's a difference. Looks like Crystal says that the public defenders, courthouse officials, judicial officials, they deserve the same treatment as everyone else. Renettle says, calling all primarily Black and brown dads and mothers across the country. Now, I like what Rhea is doing here, because what she's doing is offering and presenting something to the people of Monroe to say, hey, why don't you guys get involved in a moms for justice, dads for justice type of thing. And, you know, and I'm going to talk to the young lady who is interested in trying to get things going in Monroe about this, to see if she can maybe work with the people that Rhea gave me the contact, because I think this would be great. What better way than to, you know, kind of share with other people that have been through what you guys are going through. Now, Sharon says, yeah, they should be charged like any other citizen that breaks the law. My son deserves justice. Sharon is very vocal about how she feels about that. She's been on board with it from day one. Crystal also says, here's another one, guys. When I tell you that people come here to talk about some of the things that happens outside of T, that's what this show is supposed to generate. It's supposed to bring that out of you so that you guys can share what you're going through. Now, Crystal says that she was talking about these folks removed my grandbaby out from my son's life, all because someone paid lots of money to the court system. And even after DHR cleared the case and stated the child did not need to be removed, took my grandbaby out from Cinderella household and reeled my child into PCS. Now we're having Hellcat getting her back. These are the kind of things that, you know, it seems unbelievable, but it has to be looked into. You should not be living in a city that disregards you guys' feelings and your civil rights. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. You deserve to have your civil rights, and if they're being violated, then it is time for you guys to band together and do what you need to do. Carrie Boatwright says that the chief should be charged too, period. So obviously I went into more conversation with her about that, and I said why. And she basically responded that she made too many assumptions that wasn't true. Multiple people said he was faking. Let me say that again. She made many assumptions that wasn't true. Multiple people have said she said he was faking. I've even heard she told them to drag him if necessary. The sheriff was even heard saying he's already dead. Get him out of here. Nobody said to anybody to call an ambulance. Now that is very different than what we've heard. I've never heard anyone say. I know that he was rejected at the jail because he was not in the shape. And guys, for the record, the sheriff can do that. They have the right legally. The law supports it. That if someone comes into your jail and they are not medically up to par, you can refuse them from coming in your jail. And it's just for legal reasons. I mean, they don't have to do that. So, but I never heard anyone say that it was the sheriff who said it. Now, this is what she's saying allegedly here, that he was heard saying, get out of there. And I said, the sheriff was heard saying he's dead, get him out of here. That's the first time I've heard that. Yes, I definitely think it may be time for Mandy to go. This was amateur hour for sure. That's why I said nobody should get a pass. So I welcomed all of these comments. And of course, then, Crystal says here, a female heroine gets arrested, but because her grandmother's friends with judge, she gets a bond, gets to go home to her children. So it looks like Crystal has some definite, some ammunition here for what's going on with the system. And I appreciate her being honest and open and sharing what she knows there. So I wanted to share this with you guys because I think it's important that we, share this kind of stuff with each other, because I want you guys to be able to be open and upfront with what you see going on there in Monroe, right? So now what I wanted to talk about tonight is because I have a video I want to show y'all. And when I saw this video, I said, you got to be kidding. Because when I saw it, I said, this is so identical to what I saw with Tee's case, right? And I couldn't believe what I saw. So I want to share it with you guys. And let me tell you just who this person is. This is about Freddie Gray. Freddie Gray is someone who died in police custody. And let's see what I'll tell you guys a little bit more about it when we come back. But I want y'all to watch this video, and I want you to see the resemblance to this case and Tee's case. All right, so y'all watch this closely.
New video shows Freddie Gray minutes after his initial arrest, the last time he was seen publicly and alive. The video is short, but it shows Gray not moving, lying half in, half out of the police van.
He wasn't responding. His head was down, his feet was like this. And they picked him up and threw him up in the paddy wagon.
This is the corner of Baker and Mount Street. This is a block from where Freddie Gray was arrested. He was arrested just around the corner down at the end of this block. This is where police pulled him out of the van, they say, to shackle his feet. There was a woman watching everything right across the street. He looked unconscious to you?
Yes. Yes, and I asked them, could they get him a paramedic? They told me to mind my business. I said, it is my business.
Baltimore police say 5 of the 6 officers involved in Gray's arrest have provided statements to investigators, and a lawyer for them says any injuries sustained by Gray could not have come from the officers.
Our position is something happened in that van. We just don't know what.
Juan, he only wants his first name used, grew up with Freddie Gray. He's his brother-in-law and says Freddie's older brother died in street violence here almost 2 years ago. Freddie Gray's family in disbelief.
Just because he was running down the street and this police decided he wanted to stop him, now he a bad person. So someone deserved to be taken or deserved for running down the street. You don't know he a bad person when he run.
Oh, God. His leg broken, y'all dragging him like that.
Kiona, who also only wants to use her first name, shot this video. She says Freddie, a guy she knew as a joker and a ladies' man, only said one thing to her that day.
When I ran up the street and seen him, the first thing I asked him was he okay, because I heard him screaming, and he didn't never say yes or no. He just said I can't breathe, and just was yelling.
One thing consistent with every witness statement, this was the spot where Freddie was first arrested by police. And then inexplicably, they say, he was dragged to this spot right here. Witness also tells us that Freddie was on his back, handcuffed, his legs up behind his back, a knee of an officer firmly on his neck.
Freddie Gray's cousin says she only hopes the violence stops.
What do you hope the police will hear tonight?
I know. Peace, just give me justice, just stop this.
Wow. Is that not so similar to Tee Tunstall, guys? Did y'all see what did you see? Okay, let's talk about some of the similarities. You see how he was dragged, unconscious, dragged, thrown into the back of the police van. 25 years old, this young man. Why was he arrested? He was placed in the van. He arrived to the station unresponsive. When he got in the van, this is when I looked into it a little bit more. He got into the van and they didn't strap him down, so he's moving all around in the back of the van. Why didn't they strap him down? To keep him safe, but he's moving all around. And they stopped one time to see what was going on. They stopped the second time, and when they stopped the second time, they put iron rods or something like that on his legs, irons on his legs. Okay. By the time he made it to the police station, he was unresponsive. Does this all sound familiar? Unresponsive, dragging. So now, does it seem like this is policy to you? Because it seems like police are doing this. They did it in Monroe. I don't remember if any of them said he was faking, but Mandy did. They did it here on this video. You just saw it. The man was, you could tell he was unconscious. He gets to there, well, he died. Okay. And his death was ruled a homicide. This is the young man right here, Freddie Gray. This is just a snapshot. Does that not look strikingly similar to Tee Tunstall? Handcuffed, hands behind his back, head down, on his knees. Y'all saw the dragging, right? Okay. I wanted to make sure y'all at least saw this particular story because it was so similar. These are the officers. Let me move this out of the way so you guys can see. These are the officers responsible for this young man, Freddie Gray. Now, for those of you that think, oh, Ella's just trying to bring stories here that white cops killing black kids. No, look at these cops, okay? I resent that anyway, but this is not about race. This is about all of us. This is about a system that's hurting all of us, okay? Look at this. These are the people that were charged. So I wanted you guys to see this one because I thought, you know, when we think about Tee Tunstall, think about what happened to Tee Tunstall. He was dragged. This guy was chased also. He was chased and they got him. He had injuries to his neck and his spine. His death was ruled a homicide. All those officers were charged, but guess what? Their charges were dropped. The charges were dropped. Charges were dropped. There were acquittals, hung juries. Now, what the DOJ did notice that when they went in there and started searching, and this is what I was telling you, this is what Monroe needs. When the Department of Justice, see, you don't get the Department of Justice just because they all willy-nilly want it. Someone has to do something to get them to say, okay, look, somebody else needs to come in here and look at this. And I'm telling you, that's what y'all need in Monroe. And I'm not talking about DOJ, go in there and just look at the MPD. Look at the way they police in Monroe, period. Who is running this town, first of all? Where is your mayor? Guys, I'm getting conflicting reports about your mayor. I'm just saying, just in case y'all need to know, Y'all kind of need to have a mayor that's running your city. Do you have one? I'm just saying. Okay. I don't want to go there because that's not what my show is about, but I just thought of it when I said mayor. But anyway, so if these guys, if this is happening in your city, the Department of Justice can go in, and I said this from the very beginning. They can go in. They don't have it. They're like, look, I'm not here for the mayor. I'm not here for any of this foolishness. I don't need anybody coming and telling me anything. I need to look at your books. I need to look at your records. I need to see what you guys are doing, how you're running your police department, how you're running your sheriff's office. I need to see. I need to see what's going on here. How long have people been sitting in jail? Because I'm getting reports that you got all these people sitting in jail for years and years and years and no court dates. But that's just one of the things. But I'm just saying the DOJ can go in and make sure that your rights are not being violated. This is why you need to put complaints. And if you don't get a result from your complaint, then you go to your attorney general. That's what they're there for. You don't have to ever sit around and be frustrated because you're not getting a response from Mandy, or you're not getting a response from Boat Rider. You're not getting a response from your mayor, or you're not getting a response from your county commissioner or city council. There are people you can go to above them. I know people in Monroe who've done it and have been successful at doing it. When I say successful, I mean they've gotten paid because they found that their issue was a concern to the AG or to the DOJ, and they got the justice they needed, but they had to go over their heads. So sometimes you may have to do that. But in this case, the DOJ did come in and say, you know what? I found some unconstitutional things going on there in this particular precinct. And so they ended up putting some policies in place, some reform in place, some federal consent decrees is what they called it for reforms. But now guess this. No, the charges, these guys didn't get charged. They were dropped. They were acquittals, all this kind of stuff. And it's probably because they didn't have the right kind of evidence. They know something happened in that van, but perhaps they weren't able to prove it. But there was a settlement on this case, $6.4 million. I know it's not about money. I know money cannot bring Tee Tunstall back. It couldn't bring Freddie Gray back. Can't bring these other people back that I have researched here. But it can sure make a statement. Okay? It can make a statement that y'all got to stop doing this. Now, guess what? What could a settlement like that do for Monroe? What could something like that do for Monroe? Do you think that this is something that Monroe wants? You think they want to settle? Do you think they want a lawsuit? Do you think they want a trial? Right? Do you think that this is, and see, the reason I know they don't is that's why Mandy wrote the statement the way she did. She had to make that statement look like the police didn't do anything wrong. Didn't do anything wrong. We followed policy and procedure. He was alive. He was alert, and he was talking to officers. Is that what she said in her statement? Now, when y'all saw T's video, was he alert? Was he conscious? Was he talking to officers? But you saw what I liked in this video that the lady said? She talked about how she called out to him. Y'all remember when Selena did that? She said to WKRG, she called out to T. He didn't respond. Same thing this lady said. She was offering her help. They told her to mind her business. Kind of somewhat similar to what they said to Selena as well. Like, he can call you. He might get to call you. Like, why would you withhold his civil rights? He has a right to get a free call. Why would you even joke that he may not get that call? You know what I'm saying? Those kind of things, I hope the DA takes into his issues and look at them and be like, you know what? You got to look at this. You got to go back and you need to find out how your officers were that day. What was their state of mind? Were they pissed because T ran them down and now they're tired and they're angry, or had they had issues with him before? See, all of that matters, because you just don't outright treat someone like that and then turn around and say he was faking. See, somebody probably said the same thing about that video we just saw. They probably said that kid was faking too, but he died. And he had spinal injuries. He died because his spine was just fractured or something to that effect from all that moving around in that van. See, I know it seems unbelievable, but it does happen in this country. It does happen, guys. And it can happen in Monroeville. What we saw with Tee Tunstall, because think about it. If we didn't, I want y'all to pretend we didn't have the video of Tee Tunstall. I want y'all to forget about what you've seen. Just for a second. I know it's hard to, but just for a second, forget about that video. Pretend you don't have it. All you got now is Mandy's statement. What do you think would have happened if we hadn't had that video? What do you think would have happened? We would have had to take her word for it. Just saying. So I think it's we don't like to hear this kind of stuff. It's not pleasant. It's not nice. We don't like it. We don't want to believe that our Monroe Police Department could treat someone like this. Well, they did. Okay? And they're not the only one. I hate to say it to the people that are shocked by this video, but I can assure you this is not the first time something like this has happened in Monroe. It's just the first time it's been televised. Okay? And that's a problem. And I'm not trying to say it doesn't happen to white people, that they don't get dragged and they don't get harmed by the police. I'm not trying to say that. Okay? What I'm talking about is this one who did, and this one who did, who's dead. I'm talking about that one. And that one just so happened to be black, and the cops just so happened to be white. So if you want to make a racial issue out of it, you go ahead and do that. I'm not doing that. I'm just calling it like it is. All right? This happens way too often in communities where police officers are doing this. And it's not just white officers that are doing it. Black officers are doing it too. You just saw the one I just showed you. So I want to show you guys. This is the next guy. This is another one. Y'all see this guy? His name is Tyree Nichols. Tyree Nichols. He's another one. This is a young man who January 2023, 29 years old, traffic stop. These 5 black police officers beat him down. He died 3 days later. Blunt force trauma. Caught it on body camera footage. So they pulled him over for reckless driving, right? They pulled him from his car, pepper sprayed him, tased him. He ran. Very similar to T, right? He ran. They caught him, beat him, punched him, kicked him, batoned him. And you know what he was doing as they were beating him down like that? He was calling out for his mother. Imagine how his mother felt when she heard this and saw that he was actually calling for her. You know? Now, the officers were seen standing around laughing and talking after he was beaten. I think I have a picture of that. You see this? Now, I want y'all to look at something. You see these 5 officers? They were charged with his murder. This guy wasn't. So there were actually a total of 6 of them. But this guy, not only did he not get charged, he used the stun gun on Mr. Nichols, but he didn't get charged for that. In fact, he got a promotion. I think I heard something about that the other day, where we had an officer seen on video beating down Jerry Nettles there in Monroe. Well, not beaten down. He was assaulting him. I want to use my words correctly. He didn't get a beat down, but he was assaulted by an officer, and it was seen on video. And the video was from inside the jail. Okay. And he even wrote up the report. The report was even written up incorrectly. But the officer that did that also got a promotion. I'm just saying. I want y'all to see that this isn't personal. This is a system. And we got to recognize it and call it for what it is. But we can call it for what it is and don't stop there. We have to do something about it. We can't let people get away with stuff. This young man died. He did. Ben Crump took his case. And it looks like there were 5 officers. You guys just saw them. They were fired, charged with 2nd-degree murder, aggravated assault, and other offenses. Now, they also are facing a federal trial. See, this is the beauty of this. Because now these officers are not only getting charged criminally, but they're also getting federal charges put on them, which is giving them more time, right? So there was a federal trial and there was a state trial. Now, 3 of the officers were, and it's Bean, Haley, and Smith. So let's go back and see who Bean, Haley, and Smith. That's going to be this guy, and this guy. Okay. Now let's go back and see what they got. These guys were fired and charged with second-degree murder, aggravated assault, and other offenses. The 3 officers, they were convicted of federal charges, including witness tampering and deprivation of civil rights. Now, in the state trial, they got a separate state trial resulting in acquittals on murder charges for the same 3. So they got them on federal, but they didn't get them on the state charge. Okay. Now, since this one is still ongoing, from my understanding, there's a new trial that the judge has ordered for these 3 officers convicted in the case. Right. Those 2 other officers pled guilty to federal charges, and the 6th officer was fired but not criminally charged. So you guys see now, this particular case, from what I understand, it is still pending. It's still active. Guess how much they're asking for? $550 million for this one. City said that would bankrupt us. So I think that what then cities need to do, Monroeville included, is you need to vet your officers, and then you need to vet your leaders better. So when you get a mayor again, or with the current mayor, you need to put someone in place who can pay attention to these officers. Now, from what I understand, Chief of Police Mandy is also a coach over at Coastal, and she's preoccupied, doing whatever. Well, if she can have 2 jobs and that's okay with them, I don't care. But at the end of the day, her first job is to that police department. And if she's not training these guys and making sure they're doing what they need to do, then mayor, it is your job to make sure she does. And if she doesn't, you need to get rid of her. And then you need to put someone in there who doesn't. Because at the end of the day, if this thing goes down, it's going to have to come down from the top all the way down. Mayor, you're the one that assigns that police chief. That has nothing to do with it. She wasn't elected. She was appointed. Now, from my understanding, Mayor Andrews did not appoint her. She was already there when he got there, but he had the choice to keep her or not. So if he kept her, now then that means you're agreeing with her style. And if she's not training these guys and they're out here dragging people, then it ultimately is going to fall on the mayor. And see, when the mayor doesn't do what he's supposed to do, that's when you have to go higher than him. And see, I tried to do that by bringing Thomas Jackson to the show because he's your state representative. He was the one who also stated on the news that this is just unbelievable. The officers, this is always happening in our community. I mean, he said all of that. And then when I brought him on the show, he did talk about how he did reach out to Mayor Andrews and he did reach out to the Attorney General. But we haven't received any follow-up from him on that reach out, that initial reach out. As far as, okay, well, he didn't call you back. Now what? Like, somebody has to make him do his job, And so that's kind of where the waters get muddy, because you got all these people and they seem powerless. So if you're electing people that can't get stuff done, just saying. So, I mean, this is the thing. That's kind of where this thing gets muddy, is that there could be a potential lawsuit against Monroe County, Monroe, these officers. I don't know how they word it. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm sure that civilly, and I hope they do, they have to go after the city of Monroe. The only way this is going to be right, someone has to pay for what happened to Tee Tunstall. I don't care how you do it. I don't care who goes. I don't care who gets fired. I don't care whose head rolls, whatever it takes. If we have to go to the AG, DOJ, whomever, the media, whatever you guys have to do, you have to be willing to do it in this moment. Because I'm telling you, you may not get an opportunity to be able to be heard, because now this is a hot topic. This is a topic. People saw the video. They're probably wondering why they're not seeing more coming out of Monroe. Everyone is saying that. I'm going to be honest with you, Monroe. I've had quite a few people ask me, like, what are the efforts? What are the movements going on in Monroe? And I'm trying to find one. I don't want to lie. I mean, y'all don't make a sister lie. I don't want to lie. What efforts? Because I'll be honest with you. And I don't know if you're watching, Sharon, please correct me if I'm wrong. But has there been anyone in Monroe, okay, from the African American community, or any community for that matter, but I'm just saying because he's an African American, he lives in an African American community, has there been anyone that came out and spoke against this other than Pastor Buford? I saw that he did a couple of protests, and I don't know why that ended, but I saw a couple of protests. I don't know if there's a plan for more, but that was the only thing I saw, and then I didn't see anything else. Because that's the reason I wanted to keep talking about it, guys, because we can't let stuff like this go down. We can't. Has anyone reached out to WKRG News 5? Yes, Miss Renee. WKRG is tagged in a lot of the posts. They are contacted on some things. Yes, so there just isn't an interest yet until the DA comes out and says what this, because I can guarantee you, and you can take my word for this one, this is what I believe, this is my prediction, that when the results of the autopsy come out, they will be interested then. I think so. I hope so. Sharon says no. Thank you for telling me that, because I don't want to be wrong on that. And I just don't understand why. Renee, can you tell me? Can anyone, Teresa, can you guys tell me why is it that what is the blockage? Like, I don't understand. Let's forget about the people. Let's forget about the people for right now. Let's talk about your leaders, because that's why you elect leaders. That's why you look up to people, because you expect them to lead during times like this. And I'm used to seeing that. I grew up seeing that. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up seeing leaders, local leaders, especially like the minister of my church. If there was anything going on in the community, we didn't have to say anything. We just showed up and he did all the talking. He would go down to that courthouse or go down to the jail. They felt like there was any kind of injustice or social injustice happening in our communities. They went ahead of us and did it. Has there been any minister in Monroe? And I'm not trying to go there with the ministers. I'm just asking a question. Has there been any ministers? I don't care about the ones that have prayed for Sharon. I don't care about I'm not talking about the ones that went to her house and prayed for her. I'm not talking about the ones that go down to these meetings and pray for the city. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about this particular situation. Has there been any minister in the community? Because I'm sure there's about 2, 3, 4 churches in the Clausel community. Has any one of them said, we're going to go down here. We need to talk to y'all. We need to talk about what's going on in this community now. You know, one of our young men, is gone away from us right now. And we need to talk about this. Like, what kind of reforms? We need to pull a meeting together. Who has done that? Who has done that? And on another question here, you have people that are in place. Because let's say those people say, well, Ella, why should we run down there? That's what we elected Thelma McDaniel for. Ding, ding, ding. You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. Because you guys have continued to elect her. And she hasn't done anything about this. Now, based on Sharon earlier in this story, she did send $100 or $150 check by someone. She sent it by someone. Okay. And then I think when Sharon made a post one day about, you know what, I'm just really hurt by what's going on and how people just showing up and then they're not keeping their word, saying they're going to do this and not do that. And she sent somebody back to get the check. Guys, listen, this is the person that you elected to lead that district where a young man was dragged by the Monroe Police Department and nobody said anything about it. And from what I understand, you got pastors in the area. I don't know why we won't talk about it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very disappointed in the leadership in Monroe. I am. I'm just gonna. It's been on my heart, and I'm just gonna be honest. It really is disappointing because you guys get up in your pulpits and you pray and you say that God is love and that God loves you just the way you are. You say all of this stuff. You say all of this, but yet you're so judgmental when half your problems are sitting under your nose. But because it's dressed up, you're okay with it. But you judge this young man. Now, let me just tell you, ministers, for those of you that may have judged Tee Tunstall, I've had a lot of people reach out to me about him and about his character. And you'll be surprised to know that he was actually a very giving and loving young man. See, you may have listened to the police tell you that boy was nothing but trouble. You may have. I'm alleging this. But shame on you if you did that. Because you have to understand that you want people to believe that the God you want them to serve loves every one of us equally, but yet we couldn't stand up for this. And I'm sorry, but the Bible I read, the Bible I've read says that, that God says he was given the scenario that when people are going to think that they're going to get into heaven and they're going to be thinking, well, God, I did this and I tithed and I did all this stuff. He's going to say, get away from me. I never knew who you were. I never knew you. And he said, what do you mean? He said, when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was thirsty, you didn't give me anything to drink. When I was in jail, you didn't visit me. He said, well, God, when did I not do that? When you do it for the least of them, you do it for me. But see, here's the problem. The least of them are the ones we do the least for. But you want me to believe that God loves you more than they love Tia. You're giving a mixed message. So people that are sitting under the leadership, and I didn't mean to go this route to talk, because I don't want to be that host that talks about ministers, but I am very frustrated with the people in Monroe who have just sat there and did nothing. All of these people, I mean, you guys go and you pay your tithes every week. And I know that you do that because the Bible says, give your tithes to the storehouse and all this stuff. I understand that. But what is the church for if you can't stand up for people that need you? Sharon's family needed y'all. And thank God for the ones of you that did go visit her. Thank you. I've heard about those. She has told me about those. Yes, Ella, there were some that came and visited me, and that's great. But we need more than that. Okay? We need people that are bold enough. Because if I can go to God boldly, why can't y'all go to the city of Monroe boldly? Don't you have enough faith to be able to go to him, go to the Monroe Police Department, so you're afraid of them? Like, how can you tell me to go boldly before God and ask him for stuff, and you guys can't do it? Why couldn't somebody have enough boldness to go and sit down with the mayor and say, look, mayor, and if you did, great. But if he didn't give you the answers, then what? What do you do now? If he just wishes you away, because see, that's what Thomas Jackson told me. Thomas Jackson said to me, oh, I went to him and he told me that boy walked in that car. Oh, so he told you that. So did you guys not sit and look at the video together? Because see, that's what I would have told him. I would have said, Mayor, come here. I don't know if Mandy showed you this or not, but there's a video out here circulating. All right. You're going to look real crazy if you write this statement. See, I would have advised you, Mayor Andrews. I would have said to you, sir, I wouldn't put this video, I wouldn't put this statement out. Well, really, Ellie, yeah. As a person who is studied in what you release to the media, I would have said you need to watch the video. Because what's going to happen, Mayor, is you're going to have a lot of pretty angry constituents if you allow this to go out there and just take her word for it. Because see, she may take their word, but you also have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to the people that elected you as well. See, they didn't elect Mandy. They elected you and trusted you to get the right person to run the city police department. So if you can't do any better than she is, why do they need you, sir? So I'm telling you, I would advise you, don't put that statement out. Because number one, she said that he was arrested without incident. You know that boy he's got taser burns on him. You better go and look at him. You better go and ask some people that saw T before they took him to Mobile. You better ask him, what did he look like? What, Mandy? Now what? Come on, let's look at the body cam footage. Let's see what happened here. I need to see what your officers did. I wouldn't have trusted her. Why? So what you did is you put your trust in her, and the people put their trust in you, and we both come up empty, short. All right. Let me look at some of these comments. Sharon says no. Renee says top officials are neglecting their job duties. Mayor needs to step up. Seems as there's a lot of absentee votes. Sharon says no. Yes, she did. Kim makes a good comment. He says, stop looking for pastors to be leaders. They are not. They just preach, and most can't do that. You know what, Kim? I think I'm finally getting it. I think I'm finally getting it. And it is a hard pill to swallow because you're right. We're not used to that. Yeah, we're not used to that. Today's ministers are not like the ministers that led us as you. And that's true because I am here because a minister believed in me. I am here because some of the city leaders believed in me. They taught me. They showed us the right way for democracy. They held our hand and took us to Montgomery. Let us see that all play out, what it's like to march, to believe in something, how to stand up for something, how not to be afraid to do it. And I know I'm not the only one that was taught by those same people. Some of those same people that were taught the same way I were, they're still around now. So you're right, Kim. At the end of the day, it looks like we are the leaders. We're it. We're it. And I have to commend Kim for something. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Kim. I got to commend you for something. Because when this thing first started, Kim Abney is the one that showed me the video. He showed me the video. And I could not believe my eyes because I didn't see it. I wasn't on Facebook at that time. And when he showed me that video, my heart just wept. And I remember saying to him that, you know, Kim, I got to look at this. I don't know, da, da, da. And he made a statement, and I'm going to keep that between me and him, but he made a statement, and it changed everything I believed in that moment. And because of what he said to me, that's why I'm still here. See, Sharon isn't the one that reached out to me. Sharon's family didn't reach out to me. This is someone that was taught by the same people I was taught by. And he knew that our generation, us, what we were taught, he knew we had to do something. Because if we don't, it won't get done. And Kim, it looks like you were right. Looks like you were right. Looks like we have to be the generation that's going to turn this thing around. So you're right about that. Right? We got to stop looking for the leaders. Well, we need some people on the ground in Monroe. Now, listen, here's the thing. Do I have a problem coming to Monroe and being a voice with you guys? I absolutely do not have a problem with that. It won't be the first time. Okay. They shut me down just like they shut you guys down. They tried to tell me not to speak. Same way they even told me not to come. Okay. They even told me not to come to the city council meeting because they just didn't want to hear my mouth. Now, you know, I didn't listen to that. Of course I went. They didn't let me speak, but I showed up. And I just sat there like, are you kidding me? I will get in my vehicle and drive all the way to Monroe just to be there with you guys. But I can't do it alone. You have to stand up for yourselves first. It just make that one step. I'm telling you, it's going to feel so good because justice has to be served. God is in it. He is going to make sure that T gets his justice, but it's going to be so much better if you guys are all part of it, right? So I just, listen, I wanted to share that one video. I hope you guys got a chance to see that one because it was so similar to T's situation. So similar. And then, of course, this was, they were saying about these officers, and I wanted you to see that Ben Crump did offer his statement about this Tyre Nichols thing, because this one is still ongoing, $550 million. So guess what? If Sharon and her family, the Tunstalls, sue the city of Monroe, or whatever those legal ramifications are, and however they word it, whoever gets sued, I don't care. But I hope that she gets exactly what she needs. It will bring him back, but it was wrong what they did to him. And who cares if it bankrupts the city? I don't care about that. I really don't. Because you know what? They have sat silent. The DA has it now. I want to see. We're going to give it maybe a couple weeks, guys. We do have to give the DA time to look at all the evidence. We're going to be fair, right? Let's be fair. Give the DA time to look at the evidence, and then we go from there. Is that fair enough? But I want to show you guys another one. You see this kid, Elijah McClain, 23 years old. Kid walking down the street from the grocery store. He's leaving the grocery store, not a grocery store, convenience store, something like that. And somebody called the police and said, you know, this kid looks a little strange. He's looking a little suspicious. Y'all know how they do. Those Karens. Just being trifling. Called the police, said he looked suspicious. He had music on his, listening to music, and I guess he was dancing going down the street. Now, his family has stated that this kid is somewhat of an autistic, on the autism spectrum, some kind of way like that, okay? Cops show up, they just tackle him. He's unarmed, nothing, he had nothing. He wasn't even fighting yet, they just tackle him. He looks suspicious. They put him in some kind of cardiac hold, all right? And it stopped his breathing. They had him handcuffed, everything. Pinned him to the ground. Is all this sounding familiar? He's vomiting and all this kind of stuff. So the paramedics arrived. When they showed up, they diagnosed him with excited delirium. And they injected him with 500 milligrams of ketamine. He went into cardiac arrest. On the way to the hospital, declared brain dead 5 days later. Yeah. Guess what happened in his case? His autopsy was inconclusive, and the prosecutor declined charges. There was a public outcry. I want y'all to hear that part. A public outcry. That means the folks got involved. They weren't scared. These are the guys that did this. Look at this. 2 of the paramedics were charged with criminally negligent homicide. One of the and those people are, I think they're appealing. No, theirs were reversed. Their charges were reversed on appeal. One of the paramedics, he was convicted of criminal negligent homicide, and he is currently appealing. Guess how much that settlement was for? $15 million. So I wanted to bring examples to you guys, because you have to see that this is not, what happened in Monroe was not new. I know it's different for you guys. I know that this is one of those situations where you're like, well, Ella, we don't really know what to do. We're not used to stuff like this. I know, that's why I'm here on this show, so that you can get used to stuff like this and know what to do when it happens, if it happens again. One of the most crucial things in this, though, guys, is community. Community has to get involved in stuff like this. Every single case that I brought to you tonight, it was successful because they didn't stand alone. So it's like, okay, well, what kind of stuff can we do? Okay, I'm glad you asked that question. I want to share with you guys some of the things that I think that could work there in Monroe. You know, let's see here. You can start by, if you start with attending city council meetings. How many people actually go to those meetings? Do you even know when they have the meetings? If you don't know when they have them, I think they have them twice a month. Okay. I saw somebody comment on that the other day when we talked about it. Go to your city council meetings. LOL, why is that important? These are the people that represent where you live. Okay. City council. These are the people that make the rules and the laws for your city. These are the people that hold the purse for the city. These are the same people that allowed Mayor Andrews to pay these officers that he put back to work, that did what they did to T. Okay. Let's just go there. They hold the purse. So all of them that are sitting there in these positions, now you know a little bit more about what they can do. What could have happened, Thelma McDaniel is the person who represents that area. She could have easily called a meeting with the mayor and Mandy, and she could have questioned them about their policies. See, Monroe made it very difficult for anybody to get the policy, their manual. I wonder why. Made it very difficult. And it's all on the internet that you can call and request it if you're a resident of Alabama. They're still not giving it to them. So yeah, I know you guys down there at the police department that people are calling, or city clerk, whoever they're calling, and you guys are telling them, well, you need to tell me what you need it for. Yeah, it doesn't say that on the website. It doesn't say you got to tell. It's a policy. It's public. It should be public knowledge. Why are you making it so difficult for people to get it? See, that's crazy, right? This is the stuff that's happening in your city. They're making it difficult. And I've had at least 3 or 4 people to call me and say, oh, I heard you talking about this on your show, and I just thought I would go and try to see if I could get it because I want it for myself. And they turned me down too, right? You see what I'm saying? This is crazy stuff. Why don't you want the people to have access to the policy? So if y'all can't get it, guess who can? The city councilman, Mrs. McDaniel. She can get it. All she has to do is request it. They can't refuse her. She's a city councilman, and she's there to make laws and to make sure that the people in her area are treated the way they're supposed to be. So she could have called a meeting and reviewed it and say, hey, look, I want to know in a situation like this, when you have a man who is being dragged and he appears to be unconscious, what is your protocol for handling that kind of situation? Right? They should have that addressed in the manual. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. I can assure you this. I may not be the smartest person, but I can assure you it doesn't say take them to the damn jail when they look like they're about to die or dead. I can assure you it doesn't say that. So it doesn't take a brain scientist, Mayor, to realize that they broke protocol. Not only did they break protocol, which I'm sure is in your policy, I'm also sure it's at the APOSTC. I'm sure it's there also that it says how you're supposed to respond cases of emergency. And I'm sure it also says it in the 14th Amendment, where you have a duty to give them medical care in cases of emergencies. So that was the easy one for you, McDaniel. That was the easy one. But now here's the problem. Based on what I've heard from your side of the table there, you said you will never go against the mayor. Well, then they don't need you. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. If you can't go against the mayor, then you are not needed as a city councilman for Monroeville Police Department. Monroeville, City of Monroeville. You are not needed as a city councilman if you are afraid to go against the mayor. That is why you're there. He cannot be right all the time. He is not well, so he probably should not be running the city. Oh, but wait a minute. I hear he's not running the city. Well, and now you're trying to be messy. I'm just telling you like it is. Y'all may not know that. I happen to know that. Okay. So if you are interested in knowing who's running your city, you might want to call the city council and ask them, is the mayor active right now? Are we being run by the mayor pro tem? Like, who's in charge? That's something y'all should want to know. You shouldn't have to hear that from me. Why isn't that in the paper? Just saying. But if she's not going to do that, this is what could have happened. She could have done that for you. She could have said, Mayor, I don't agree that these officers should be paid. We're waiting on this investigation. We don't know if these men are responsible for this young man's death. We don't know yet. You won't even, if you looked at the video, you should have thought there's a possibility. So you might want to be careful on that one. Now that the autopsy is out, I wonder what the mayor's saying now. See, I happen to know what the autopsy report is, but I can't reveal that to you guys because I'm not going to get ahead of this investigation. I don't want it to be said, well, you know, she said it on the Ella Johnson show. So now I'm not going to do that. However, I would love to have a conversation with Mayor Andrews now and say, do you think that was a good move now that you sent these officers back? So this is a mess. This is a real mess that you guys have in Monroe because you got the mayor making decisions. I thought it was the Mandy was supposed to be the one to bring them back. You got a city council that didn't kick up against it. And if they did, they didn't try hard enough because they went back. Then I see that you guys are paying them overtime and all this kind of stuff. And then we hear that there are people that are still being terrorized by these officers that terrorize T. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe what needs to happen, maybe Thomas Jackson, maybe because I think you're running for office. I think what you should do, and this is just a suggestion. I tried to email him to see if I can get him back on the show. What I think you should do is maybe you should make a call down there to see what's going on in Monroe. before someone else does. Just saying. I mean, you guys don't want to be blindsided with this when the DOJ or the AG shows up in Monroe and they can't find your mayor. They don't know who's running the city, and the police department is going all array, and you got the DA here trying to decide about a case, whether to charge murder, manslaughter, or whatever he may have to do in this case, because he has the case. It's a mess. And I don't want to be the one to tell you guys, y'all can do something about it. I challenge you. Y'all can email me tomorrow. Call down there and see who is running the city. Is the mayor actively running the city of Monroe right now? Who is in charge? Because the mayor position is the CEO of Monroe. That's the person running things. And if they're not in action, then we have a situation. So who is really running? He may be. I don't know. Just saying. Because things that come to me may not always be true. But I'm just saying, I'm bringing it here. It's alleged. How's that? That's better. It's alleged that the mayor is not running the city of Monroe. That's one thing you guys can do. You can also attend county commission meetings. How many of you guys go to those? You guys know the county commissioners are the ones that fund the jail, if I'm not mistaken. So if you got issues with the jail, these are the people you need to take it up with. Yeah. Because guess what? If something happens and someone is sued, well, let's see. I think the last time I checked, Jerry Nettles is in a civil lawsuit, unless something's changed. I don't know. But he's in a civil lawsuit, and he named your sheriff in that lawsuit because of the video that he put out on Facebook. I didn't put it out on Facebook. I never talked to the young man. I saw his video, and I decided to cover that story because it's a video. And it looked as an authentic video because it came from inside the jail. So you have a whole you have a bag of problems there, a mixed bag. It's not just the MPD. You got the sheriff that's named along with other deputies, and one of those deputies got promoted. So this stuff that you're seeing, that I'm bringing to you, these stories, you don't have to look far for the examples. They're right there. Okay? That's one thing. Y'all go to your county commission meetings. Bring up your issues to them. Stay informed. Read official announcements. Follow developments in the case and rely on verified information instead of rumors. That's why the paper is good. But if you guys got a newspaper that's not bringing out this kind of information, you could just keep checking in with the Ella Johnson Show. We'll bring it to you. Because I don't even know if there's anything in the paper yet about the I don't even think there was anything in your paper yet even about this case that the SBI has turned it over. I mean, we put it in the paper about Mandy's statement. Okay, so the investigation is over. Report that. I think that's newsworthy. Mike Quells? I think so. Contact your elected officials respectfully. Yeah, we want to keep it respectful, guys. Listen, I'm not saying that you got to go in there and bombard the office and be all militant and all of that kind of stuff, but you got to be consistent. You have to be consistent, and you have to make sure that they know that you want an answer. Like, no, I'm not kidding with you. I'm coming to you, asking you a legitimate question, and I want a legitimate answer. No, you're not going to brush me off. Don't tell me to come back next. I'm not trying to hear all that. And whenever you do call the office, let me just give you guys a piece of advice, because this is going to help you. When you call the office and you ask them something, turn around and send an email saying, this is just to confirm my call. Because now you got a paper trail of it. So if they don't respond to you, which they don't respond to you. Now, they definitely don't respond to me. Okay. I can understand why. I don't live in Alabama, but they should respond to you. They should respond to you. You're a citizen and you deserve an answer. So if you're asking a legitimate, respectful question, they should give you the same in return. All right. So make sure you even know who your elected officials are. I had somebody ask me on the show, who are the elected officials? Like, okay. Call them and ask questions. All right. We want respectful dialogue for sure. Always report concerns through the proper channels. If you see witness misconduct or anything like that, use the appropriate official reporting process. And the only way you'll know that is if you call and they try to give you the runaround, go to the internet. How do I file a complaint with the Monroe County, the city of Monroe Police Department? How do I file a complaint about the sheriff? You can go through that process. Now you got a paper trail that you did it. And if they ignore you, then you go to the AG. Yeah, it's okay. Listen, I know people in Monroe right now that did this. What I'm saying, they did it. And I've seen the proof of it because they showed me their response and their communication with the AG. So they want to know and need to know what's going on in the city. And honestly, you have to go the proper channels. I don't think it's fair to complain about the mayor if you didn't tell the mayor first. I think in all respect, you got to go to those people first. Okay. You only go to the AG, I think, if they don't respond to you. Okay. So I know that the young lady that was on the show last week, going back and forth, Ms. Liz Rod, I've been talking to her. She is very interested, guys, in pulling together a group of people in Monroeville so that they can start maybe she'll work with Joshua. I don't know if he plans to do anything else with this. As far as a protest, I'm not sure if he's planning anything, but maybe they can link up together and y'all can get some stuff going on the ground. This shouldn't be that difficult. This is a young man that died in police custody. And these same police that saw Tee alive for the last time, who were there with him when he took his last breath, they're still out there arresting people and pulling people over. Okay. Unless some of them have quit. I heard that maybe a couple of them have quit. I don't know. Okay. I'm not there in Monroe. This is just what I'm hearing from bits and pieces on my responses to posts. But I did the show tonight. I wasn't going to be planning to be here long. I just wanted to make sure that we had a conversation about the community. This is a community conversation. Demand a press conference. Very good idea, Cam. I think I asked someone about a press conference in Monroe, what the requirements are. I think you got to get a permit and all that kind of stuff. But yes, you should demand a press conference. Like it can be so simple because you want them. They should be talking to you. The DA should be saying something. Somebody should be saying something. How is it that I know what's going on with the autopsy and y'all don't? How do I know that? Why don't y'all know that? Why don't you demand that the city of Monroe will be more transparent? We started this thing out saying we want transparency. All your elected officials, even the higher up ones in Montgomery, they said the same thing. Shamari, Thomas, they all said it. We want a thorough investigation and transparency. Okay, well, we got the investigation. It's over. Now I know what the autopsy report says. Why do we stop here? Y'all need to demand that. We want answers. Get a press conference. Have something going on. Guys, you see, this happens all over the country. People just follow these procedures. A press conference is a normal thing to have. So maybe that should be the first thing that we should work on, is trying to get them to put some kind of press conference. But you know why they don't give you guys the norm? Because you don't demand it. I'm just going to be honest with you. You don't demand it. You guys aren't making enough noise for them to move. That's why when they had the press conference, they probably looked outside like, oh man, there's only like 5 people out there. We're good. There was no need to give you anything because you guys didn't demand it. They just want me to stop talking. And I'm not going to stop talking, but I need you guys to start talking too. She said justice for Tee. That's right, Teresa, justice for Tee. And for those of you that did participate in the protest, that's good. What are the kind of things you guys want from Monroe? What do you think they should be giving you? One, we know that you need a press conference. We know that you need to be able to speak at your city council meetings. It shouldn't be a 10-step process for you guys to be able to come and speak. It should be very simple. Mayor, you don't get to tell us what to say. If I'm unhappy with the way you're doing your job, I should be able to say that in an open public forum. Why you got to say it on Facebook? Why can't you go and say it in his face? Why can't you go to the city council meeting? And I'm not saying be disrespectful, but say it like it is. Sir, we are not happy with how you have responded to this Tee Tunstall. Mrs. McDaniel, we're not happy with you. You don't do your job. We don't see any of you until it's time to get elected. That's how you feel. You should say it. What's wrong with that? They come into your church. They get on the pulpit and they make all these promises of what they plan to do for you when they're elected. We're going to make sure that we cut out this. We're going to make sure. Okay, well, I tell you what, I challenge you. Y'all got some stuff that I brought to you just from my show. Cut it out. What happened with Jerry Nettles? What happened with Jerry Nettles? Why wasn't that handled? You know why? The only reason you know about that is because he was able to get somebody from the inside of the jail. See, there are a lot of people that don't really like what they see going on either. Okay? There are a lot of people that's not feeling how y'all running your stuff, and they're talking. They're definitely talking to me. Okay? And I'm definitely going to talk about it when I get all my ducks in a row, that I have something to present. I don't care if it falls at the Monroe Police Department or if it falls at the jail. It makes me no difference. And I'm getting some stuff that involves some churches too. Well, Ellen, I know you can't touch the church. Why not? Why not? The media is, the jails are, y'all got people that are getting arrested, molesting people in the church, and y'all putting them back in the pulpit. We got to expose all that stuff. Yeah, that stuff has to come out. You know why? Because it's hurting people. And it's causing people to turn away from God. And anytime you are causing and doing stuff that's causing people to turn away from God, you should be exposed. Because better to get exposed down here, because he's definitely going to expose you. So I just think that there's so much stuff that's been allowed to happen in Monroe. That is why I wanted to come up with a series, Monroe County Uncovered. That's not going to just be about Tee Tunstall. That's just what we're talking about now. But there's more to come. Okay? So you guys, but what I require for me to cover stuff, I need to make sure you've done it the right way. Because I don't want to get on here, talk about an issue that you haven't tried to address, and we bring it here for the first time. No, that's not fair. That's not fair to the city officials. That's not fair to the mayor. That's not fair. We got to follow chain of command. I want to know if you've done all that and you can prove you've done all that. Now we go higher. And when we start doing that, they're going to start respecting you. And when you go into the DHR office and you go to report something, and you want to find out why you guys are taking my kid, it passed the smell test. There's nothing wrong here. Why am I having a hard time getting my kids? You're going to know that you got power and that you can complain and you can go to the right place. You know why? Because we're going to talk about it on the Ella Johnson Show. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to make sure you know. Because you know what? People can't just keep treating you guys like this. A lot of why you're accepting this is because you don't know what to do. And that's the issue. A lot don't know what to do. Now, we can handle that. But if your issue is fear, we need to handle that too. Why do people have you guys so fearful that you're paralyzed to even speak? No, we can't do that. We can't do that. I don't think so. All right. I'm almost out of here. Renee says, how about getting governor involved? Governor of Alabama involved. Okay, well, I don't know exactly what steps you can do to get to the governor. We can find out together. But I think we should start local. We should make a lot of noise local. I think that if you guys want to pay and put an ad in the paper, let's do that. Let's do a we demand a press conference, because they'll put it in there if I call them and pay it. I don't have a problem with that. I would invest that into you guys to get started. To call up the guy, because I can't tell you how many articles I've given them. They're just not going to put mine in there. Okay, I give them press releases. I've been doing it, and the first thing they say is, "Oh, this is going to have to be an ad. You got to pay for it." Okay, I don't mind doing that. I'll put an ad in the paper that says we demand a press conference from the city officials about Tee Tunstall. We'll do that. Sharon, what do you think about that? We'll do that, and let's see what happens. Let's see if they give it to you. Because see, guess what? Now you got proof that you asked for this. It's a shame that you guys got to put an ad in the paper just to get a press conference. That's people are supposed to be in place to just know to do that. Like, I don't understand, like, what kind of people do you have there in Monroeville that don't know that you have to respond to a media personnel has to be present, some kind of public official, so that they can tell the media and answer the questions from the media. They have to have people in place to know how to do that. Like, what kind of place are you guys running there? If his parents had a lot of money, yes, the pastor and everyone else's would have been. But one person you can count on, Lord, don't need money. That's right. Lord doesn't need any money. That's right. That's right. Invite Sharon's attorneys to the PC. Yes. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea, Kim. I will say this, that I have spoken to one of them. And it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time because, guys, we have to know this, that the attorneys are being very careful in what they say, what they don't say, what they do, because this is probably one of the biggest cases Monroe probably has ever had to deal with, okay? Because now we're talking about something that was videoed. Have you guys ever seen a video in Monroe where it captured something like this? I can't ever remember a time. I can't ever remember the time. Yes, Kim, I spoke to them about that. I spoke to them about that as well. Due time. Just remember that, in due time. But they're not going to, because I've even invited them to come to the Ella Johnson show. But right now, they do not want to do that because it's not time yet. But it will come a day. There will come a day. They will be here and we'll get to ask them all the questions. But guys, this is a serious case that's going on. It's a death in custody police case in Monroe where you're looking at criminal charges possibly being charged to these officers. And if they're not, then you're looking at a big situation. You know, why not? The only reason the DA is not supposed to file charges is if they don't have enough evidence. Well, we know one piece of evidence is a video that went viral. Now, what we don't know is, are they looking at the evidence from the Sally Port when they took him to the jail? Are they looking at all of the audio and video maybe that was captured in those police cruisers? Are they able to go back and look at where they went from the time where they followed the entire chase? Did they have their body cameras on in the woods? Now, y'all remember the case I showed you with Freddie Gray? And what happened to that young man inside that van? He ended up with spinal injuries enough that killed him. Now, come on, police. You're telling me that you guys don't have enough sense to strap him in, and he's in a van that probably didn't have seats, and y'all didn't care, and he's all over. How you get a spinal injury from an arrest, and the officers get off? Man, come on. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff that's really happening out here, and everybody will say, "Well, the cops, why don't they just sit down? Why didn't the boy just do this? Why didn't he just do that?" No. These officers cannot. See, this is what I think is happening with police officers. And we're going to talk about this one day. How police were trained. How did we even come up with police? Do you guys even know the history of where police came from? Maybe that's what we're going to talk about Thursday night. I'm going to bring Stephanie back with me tonight. Stephanie Knight Simpson is going to be with me on Thursday night. And she and I are going to talk to you guys about history of police. How about that? Because I think that when you guys hear that, you'll understand why we're seeing what we're seeing in this country. Okay? Y'all need to understand and take it for what it is. Yes. Do cops set people up? Yes. Do cops beat people up? Yes. Do cops kill innocent people? Yes. Could cops have killed T? Yes. Yes and yes. They could have. They could have. So, thank you, Kim, for that. I appreciate it. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. I just, did I tell you, Elijah, what happened with him? Yeah, $15 million lawsuit. Yeah, $15 million on him. Tyre Nichols, $550 million. And Freddie Gray, 6.4. I believe the reason Freddie Gray's settlement was so low is because the officers were acquitted. Yeah, I think that's why. Teresa says all the time, yes. All the time, yes. What, Teresa? What do you? Because I talk so much, I don't know what you mean. Tell me again what you mean. All the time, yes. So, guys, I hope y'all get something out of this. I like to come live because I want to share. I want to keep talking about Tee Tunstall, and I can't wait for them to bring out the autopsy report so I can talk more. Police supposed to protect us? Yes. Yeah, that's what they say on the badge. That's what they say on the car, but that's not what always they do. And I think that people just don't want to believe that the police do this. Well, listen, y'all saw the video. The video didn't lie. We saw a man going into the woods, running from the police. And then Mandy says, well, he was arrested without incident. You know what that means? That means that he was arrested and they didn't have to do anything to him. He just, when they captured him, they handcuffed him and took him to the car. Now, if she thinks we believe that, come on, Mandy. I mean, because let's be honest. They didn't take him to the car. They dragged him to the car. Okay? They dragged his lifeless body just like they did Freddie Gray, guys. Y'all saw it tonight. That wasn't even Tee Tunstall, and it looks very similar. I picked that one because it's similar. Identical. The witness. I reached out. They told me mind my own business. This is my business, she tells them. You're watching a man lifeless, and they're dragging him like nothing. You cannot believe that is proper protocol. And I don't know. Maybe someone should show this video to the mayor, and maybe he'll understand. I would love to be able to just interview him. I would love for him to give me 5 minutes just to talk to him respectfully. Because if his health is not where it should be, then I'm sorry about that. I don't wish any ill will to Mayor Andrews. He is the sitting mayor, but if his health is not in the place where it needs to be, then you guys need to have somebody running your city that can answer these questions. Okay? Because I can assure you that there will come a day that we won't be able to ask them anymore. They'll have to speak to DOJ and the Attorney General, because I can assure you that they're watching these shows. People that know stuff, they're watching these shows and they're advising. I'll put it like that. So it's very important. All right. You guys got to be in it too, because I can personally only do so much. But it's going to take those of you with boots on the ground so we can get justice for Tee. You know, we all say justice for Tee, but you got to be willing to do something for it. Okay? Democracy is yours. All of us deserve it. You should never be too afraid to tell somebody when they're not doing their job, and especially when you put them in it. You think your boss has a problem telling you you're not meeting your job? If you right now, tomorrow, you have a job and you go in there and you're not meeting your goals, they're not going to have a problem saying, look here. Now, you know what? When you came in here, I gave you an orientation and I gave you the requirements for this job. You're not cutting it. You're just not cutting it. So if they do that to you, why can't y'all do it to the mayor? He didn't earn that position. He was elected into that position because y'all felt like he deserved it. So if he's not doing what you need and you guys are not happy, it's on you. You have the tools at your disposal. All right, guys, well, I'm going to get out of here. It's been great. I feel a lot better than I did Thursday night. As you can tell, I probably sound a little nasal, but I do feel better. So I appreciate those of you that prayed for a sister. I want y'all to have a great week. I'll be back Thursday night, though. I will be back Thursday night with Stephanie, and we're going to talk. Because this time I want somebody else to kind of talk with me about this DA. Maybe by Thursday they will have put it in the paper, and you'll know what the autopsy report says. But I want y'all to stay tuned, stay engaged in this, because when you hear this autopsy report, everything is going to start to make sense why we're still here day after day. Now, we were here before we knew about this autopsy report, but we had an inkling that it might go this way. So I want y'all to stay tuned for more. Hopefully the DA and the officials there are going to finally let you guys know the results, because we waited, we were patient, and we waited for the SBI report. Now it's in. Now what's up? All right, guys, y'all have a great evening. And I appreciate you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Central, right here on the Ella Johnson Show. See you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show. We'll see you next time.
We are supporters of the Ella Johnson Show. We live in South Korea. We have been watching Ella Johnson Show for like a year now, and we love her show. Her show is very inspirational, motivational, and educational.
If you would like to be a guest on The Ella Johnson Show, send an email to theellajohnsonshow@gmail.com or send a text message to 407-334-6997.
We love Ella Johnson Show.